Welcome to Naveen Tech Hub, where AI meets real-world engineering.
Imagine you have a brilliant idea for a new application. In the past, turning that idea into reality meant buying the physical computers to run it. You would spend thousands upfront, unboxing heavy hardware, plugging in cables, and finding a place to store it all in a noisy, overheated back room. Then, your app becomes a massive hit. Suddenly, thousands of people are trying to use it at the exact same time, like a holiday crowd rushing the doors of a department store. Your physical computers cannot handle the sudden rush of traffic, and your entire application crashes. Amazon Web Services, or AWS, solves this exact problem. Instead of buying physical machines yourself, you rent access to Amazon's vast network of highly powerful computers over the internet. When you have a massive crowd, you click to rent more power. When the crowd goes home, you give it back. You no longer have to guess how many computers you might need years in advance. You pay only for the electricity and computing power you actually use, exactly when you use it. Building an application shifts from a massive upfront purchase into a flexible, manageable monthly utility bill. To understand how you rent this power, let's look at how Amazon actually organizes its computers. AWS groups its massive buildings full of servers into broad, global geographic areas called regions. You can think of a region like choosing the city where you want to build your digital business, such as London, Tokyo, or Mumbai. Inside each of those cities, AWS operates multiple, separate data centers spaced miles apart, called availability zones. If a storm knocks out one facility, the other availability zones keep your application running smoothly because they run on completely independent power and network lines. Now that you have picked a secure location, you need a computer. The most common way to get one is a service called Amazon EC2. This gives you a virtual server. It is essentially like renting an empty plot of land. You get total control to build whatever you want, but you are responsible for installing your own operating system and software. If you do not want to manage an entire virtual computer, you can use a service called AWS Lambda. Instead of renting the plot of land, you just provide your application's code, and Amazon runs it for you. It operates exactly like a taxi meter. You are only charged for the exact milliseconds that your code is actively processing a user's request. Your choice here dictates how you spend money. With EC2, you pay continuously for the server as long as it is turned on, even if no one is visiting your app. With Lambda, you pay $0 when things are quiet, and only pay when your application is actively doing productive work. Once you rent your computing power, you need a safe place. AWS provides the Virtual Private Cloud, or VPC. This acts like a secure perimeter fence drawn around your specific servers, isolating your slice of the cloud from the internet. Inside that fence, you organize your space. First, you create a public subnet. Think of this as the main lobby of an office building. Its doors open directly to the outside world, making it perfect for your public-facing web servers. But you don't want sensitive passwords sitting out in the lobby, so you create a private subnet. This is a secure, interior vault with absolutely no direct connection to the internet, where you store your highly sensitive databases. Occasionally, secure databases need to reach the outside world for a critical security update. To do this safely, you set up a NAT gateway. It functions like a secure mailroom, sending requests out, but strictly blocking any uninvited traffic from coming back inside. To add another layer of protection, AWS uses security groups. You attach these to individual virtual computers. They act like a bouncer at the door of a specific server. They are stateful, meaning if the bouncer lets your request into the server, they automatically remember you and let your response back out. In contrast, network access control lists, or NACLs, act like guards patrolling the boundary of an entire subnet. They are stateless. This means they check your ID on the way in and then completely forget who you are. When you try to leave, they will check your ID all over again before letting you out. By combining these secure zones, gateways, and guards, you create a system where a single point of failure is contained. If a hacker somehow manages to break into your public web server in the lobby, they will still hit a solid brick wall trying to reach the private database hidden deeper inside your network. Your virtual computers will need a place to store their files. Amazon Elastic Block Store, or EBS, is a virtual hard drive. You plug it directly into a single, specific EC2 server, just like plugging a USB drive into your laptop. It is fast and reliable, but it can only talk to one computer at a time. If you have an entire fleet of virtual computers that all need to read the exact same files at the same time, you use Amazon Elastic File System, or EFS. It acts as a massive shared network drive, letting hundreds of different servers access the same data simultaneously without getting confused. Finally, for everything else, there is Amazon S3. This is a vast, inexpensive public warehouse designed to hold massive amounts of everyday files. Whether it's millions of profile pictures, daily video backups, or website text files, S3 stores them safely and lets anyone with permission access them via a simple web link. Keeping your storage separate from your actual computing servers is incredibly powerful. It means you can completely delete and replace a broken server without ever losing the permanent files, images, and data that your customers care about. This diagram shows the AWS Shared Responsibility Model. Amazon handles security of the cloud, the bottom orange section, managing physical data centers and hardware. You are responsible for security in the cloud, the top blue section, meaning you must properly configure your tools, passwords, and firewalls. Every piece we have discussed connects to form a complete system. A user clicks a link, passing through the public subnet to reach your EC2 server. That server securely grabs a file from the private database, pulls a profile picture out of S3, and delivers the page right back to the user. Moving to the cloud means you stop worrying about buying hardware and cooling server racks. Instead, you focus purely on selecting the right building blocks. You connect these reliable, flexible tools together to build resilient applications that can serve 12 users today and 1 million users tomorrow.